All right, nation. I really think the Andrew Luck news is by far the most devastating news for Colts fans, especially if you look at it from these angles. If you done bought season tickets or you done fooled around and drafted them in your fantasy league, because that's what everybody loves to hear now, fantasy football, it's devastating news. But from Andrew Luck's perspective, football is a game of inches. One hit can snap up everything. You lose your whole entire life almost. So I'm kind of like in the middle of his whole decision. Now, I cannot say, well, he should have made this decision earlier. You just never know. That's just how football goes, unfortunately, especially as it relates to football and, every drill, every time you take a snap, you get hit. So all it takes is just that one hit. Remember, football is a game of inches. So I can feel what Cowboy fans are saying that. Like, look at the Colts. How are they being so disrespectful and this sort of thing? But I can feel some of the Colts fans are being upset. But my thing is, let's not get too personal with it, in a sense, because when you get personal with it, you just never know. And football is a brutal sport. It's a contact sport. And I think that he made the right decision for himself and his family to step back and say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and retire. It's better to walk away from it than to limp away from it or to be wheelchaired away from it. So I'm 100% backing up Andrew Luck in his decision. Now, this guy named Doug Gottlieb, I think that's how you say his name, I retweeted or posted his information, said, who is this guy? And pretty much in context, he was calling Andrew Luck a baby, basically. Trying to keep it PG-13. He was calling him a baby, basically, for walking away from the football sports. And I can see if he's a diehard Colts fan. I don't know. I can see if he's frustrated, because if we were to walk away earlier, he could have been like, hey, I'm going from this team. Maybe they would have traded for Josh Rosen or somebody. Who knows? But football is football. And shout out to Troy Aikman for calling him out on his stuff. And you guys can just go to Troy Aikman's Twitter handle, and that's where I saw it at. And he was like, that's total BS. Who are you to tell somebody when to walk away from the game? But it's crazy. I want to know your thoughts on that, Cowboy Nation, and those who watch this show that's not a Cowboy fan. So what are your thoughts on football players retiring early? Because we saw it with the Detroit Lions players, the wide receiver, Megatron, and then we saw it with Barry Sanders, and for those who really, really, really old, they got a chance to see it with Jim Brown. So sometimes it's better to walk away. Now, fast forward into the Cowboys news. I want to talk a little bit about Ezekiel Elliott. This week, if he don't show up this week, if he don't sign the contract this week, then he's holding out for real. And he turned down that offer for real. And this is my thing is with people in general. This new saying of fake news got everybody scared to just post about anything. Everybody want to be 100% right. There's room for speculation. And I'm calling out people to understand that segment of YouTubers and content creators. Unless it's CNN, or unless it's like ESPN, or unless it's like, I guess, the beat writers from around the local area, unless it's them, they got a thing called credentialing that they got to uphold, broadcasting news and stuff like that they got a credentialing that I think that they got to hold up for and things like that. But sometimes you do throw a little speculative news out there, meaning that, hey, in speculations, this should happen or that should happen. So not everything is fake. It's just opinions. So people have to understand that when somebody is speaking or voicing their opinion, don't take opinion as news. Just take it as speculation. That would help out a lot of people, especially on YouTube channels. I see so many people with brilliant ideas. So many people say, "Hey, Law, how can I start my YouTube channel? How can I start my social media channel?" Get a cell phone and just talk. Voice your opinion out there. Put your matter out there to the universe. Speak your languages out there to the universe. There's going to be tons of people that just going to dislike you. But on the flip side, there's going to be more people, regardless how you look at it, that's going to like you. But as long as you speak from the heart and be transparent in a sense, I think that people can identify with that more so than anything else. One thing you don't want to be is this fake guy that's walking around, and I'm using fake again, just like fake news. This fake guy that walk around that appears to think that they know everything. Nobody knows everything. People just know some things. But when you talk to a collective people, you will try to get that message out to a lot of people. And they would help you out along the way. Remember this, validation is only good for parking. So don't let anybody misguide you and say, well, you shouldn't talk on this topic or you shouldn't talk on that topic. You should be able to think with your own mind, your own heart, your own soul, your own sinew. You should be able to think and speak for yourself. So if you have an issue, let me just use Cowboy players for example. If you have an issue with Dak Prescott throwing mechanics, you shouldn't withhold your thoughts because Joe Blow on the other side don't have the same issue. But if you believe that he's the best quarterback out there, he got the best throwing mechanics, speak it. Don't hide your talent. There's a lot of people out here that got tons and tons of talent. Got beyond talent, beyond thoughts, beyond dreams and goals, but they just don't turn on the camera and talk to it. Look, the most people that could go back and forth with me on YouTube don't even have a profile picture, believe it or not. So what I'm saying is collectively, is just speak your mind, speak your thoughts, and it'll happen. Now, like I said, these contracts are getting very close to the edge right here. Amari Cooper had yet to get signed, Dak Prescott had yet to get signed, and Ezekiel Elliott had yet to show up. Now, of course, Dallas media is going to say, hey, we've been in close communications with him. We've been in, and talking and these sorts of things. My thing is, what are they talking about? What? If the contract, what kind of contract do Ezekiel Elliott really want? Do he really want the Todd Gurley contract and say, nah, that's not enough? Do he really, 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 really want all of the coins, all of the money? I don't know who's negotiating. I don't know who's setting up this thing for Ezekiel Elliott's camp altogether. I know his agency, his name is Rock or what have you. Got his last name. Rocky, they call him that on First Take. My thing is, I would be kind of worried a little bit when Ezekiel Elliott shows up because he have yet to have physical contact. He have yet to be ingratiating himself within this playbook. And the worst thing that can ever happen to anybody, and this is why I'm kind of like in the middle with Ezekiel Elliott stands. I'm like, hey, you pay the guy because you don't have the, you pay the guy because you want him to be happy and you want him to be secure. But then on the other end, I'm like, hey, honor your contract. You got 2 years left out. You got at least, I'm with the belief you should at least play out the last year and, well, play out this year and then hold out next year. But I remind people that this past weekend, what happened to Lamar Miller, that could have been Zeke. So Ezekiel Elliott camp was like, look at Lamar Miller. He was playing in a meaningless game, and he snapped up everything. He's out for the season. What was that? What would have happened if that was Ezekiel Elliott? So we're looking at all those things, and we're trying to decipher whether or not can and will or should Ezekiel Elliott camp continue to hold out because of those type of things. Let me know, Cowboy Nation. want to know your thoughts. I really want to know how you guys feel about this Ezekiel Elliott situation, especially as it relates to him holding out and what our expectations of the season could be without him. Yeah, so that's all the time that I have for right now. I really appreciate each and every last one of you all. Let me know how you guys feel about the preseason game. Did you guys get enough information from, did you guys get a chance to see enough of that out there? Were everything on the same page that you really wanted to see as far as the offense? Defense, I know you have no questioning it on, right? And special teams, we saw a punt kick, and we saw a punt kick blocked, and we saw Brett make some few kicks here, so that was cool. Let me know of your thoughts. Let me know of your opinion. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute. I'm out. Peace.